broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers! Welcome back to the original Season 2, Episode 19, When the Levee Breaks. Oh my gosh, this song is really getting me in the mood for this episode. I'm your host, Roxy Striar. You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar, alongside the beautiful, lovely Katie Campbell.
Hello, hello. You can find me on Twitter at Katie E. Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell.
Katie says yay.
Katie says yay.
And of course, our amazing chat mistress, Tiona Hobson.
Hello, everyone. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson, and I'm grieving right now.
I know, and it's a good person to grieve next to. I think
We're
he's
grieving together.
alongside.
We're getting through it. We're getting through it together.
You guys know him as Josh. We know him as Steven Krueger. Here he is. He's Steven Krueger.
Hello. Thank you for having me, ladies.
Well, thank you for coming. Where can the people find you?
On Twitter at Steven A. Krueger. Best place. Really only place. Only social media that I do.
You don't do the gram?
No, it's so exhausting. It really is exhausting.
It is.
And
Yeah,
people that say
listen.
it's not, and then they sit there for like 20 minutes and agonize over their picture and the filter and the caption has to be witty.
Yeah, of course, and the
It's
contrast and
it's
the resolution.
just so much.
It
It's so
is
much.
tough.
Twitter, like you say a few stupid words and then it's off.
Exactly. Well, we're really excited to have you in studio tonight because it was a big episode for your character.
Huge.
Before we get into that, though, I want to tell you guys where you can find us, which is on AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzzTV, where you can live chat with our chat mistress. She's there right now.
Hi.
That's her waving.
I was waving because I was reading comments.
That's her waving, and in case you're on iTunes and wondering what that silence was, that was her waving. Or, of course, on SoundCloud, everywhere you are, you can give us that 5 stars, a thumbs up, everything that you can do. The comments, we read everything you guys have to say. You're the absolute best fans of the world, and we really appreciate it. If you're talking to us, use the hashtag ABTVOriginals, and let us know what your thoughts are, and let us know if you have any questions for Steven. Really give him the hard-hitting ones,
Yeah,
you know?
really. I can handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a problem. Anything you can throw my way.
Wow, he said it, not me.
I said
Challenge accepted, guys.
That's to them in the chat roll.
it. Game on.
All right, but I want to talk about the episode first before we get into your character. Let's talk about this Freya v. Klaus. That's kind of how my brain's breaking it down right now. We got these 2 siblings. One of them we have known for a very long time. Obviously, that's Klaus that I'm talking about. And we love him, we hate him, we love to hate him, whatever it is. And then there's Freya, who we don't know that much about. And already she said she was going to tear the siblings away from Klaus, and she kind of is doing that one step at a time. What are you guys thinking about this dynamic?
I don't know why, but I'm still Team Freya. Although it's really annoying to me that they're not working together. I'm over this whole I have this plan and she has this plan and he has this plan and everything. We just need to work together because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to beat her if we're all separate.
Yeah, for you guys who are tuning in for the first time, Katie's a lover of love. She just wants everybody, sunshine and rainbows, and Katie says yay kind of thing. So
This is probably the wrong show for you.
I know the death really is affecting her, the rate.
It
but
is.
honestly, I just can't believe you could say that. I'm gonna let T take this one because she threw her hands up in the air.
Because last week I said this, and I'm sticking by it still. I do not trust Freya at all. I think she has ulterior motives. And tonight I noticed someone tweeted me and said, "Did you notice that Freya and Dahlia's mannerisms are very similar?" And I responded and said, well, also their plan was similar. Freya said she wanted to tear the siblings away from Klaus. Dahlia said tonight, I need to tear the siblings and make them all, hate each other. I need to tear them apart. They have the same plan. They have the same mannerisms. Maybe they're the same person. I don't know, but...
You think they're the same person?
No, I don't necessarily think they're the same person. I'm trying to fill in for Donald's crazy predictions here. But I just don't trust her because her and Dahlia have the same plan right now. And I think tonight even proved a little bit more why we should be wary and always trust Klaus. Klaus loves his family. His family comes first. He's never going to let his family get hurt or anything like that. So just have faith in him.
Unless he daggers them
Unless
himself.
he does it himself, which is totally acceptable. Not really. But I do not believe in Freya right now. I believe in Klaus, and I need him to come back because he had a plan that we never got to hear tonight. And I'm still very upset about what happened to Klaus tonight.
Okay, so we have to get your opinion, not as Josh, as Steven.
Yeah.
What do you think about this kind of fight dynamic that they have going on? Are you Team Freya, or are you Team Klaus, or are you Team Katie, who's the lover of love?
I might, after I made that comment, I might actually be on Katie's side here.
Thank you.
What's happening?
Well, here's the deal. I think you have to remember that, and it gets a little lost because I think the first half of last night's episode was so forced on the back and forth between Klaus's point of view and Freya's point of view. And well, if you're with him, then you can't be with me, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to remember, though, that this wasn't always Freya's plan to tear her siblings away from Klaus. Mm-hmm. Initially, she came in and wanted and said, please just, I'm here for the right reasons, please just accept me. And the only reason that she's gotten to this point is because Klaus for so long refused. I mean, he just refused to trust her, and at this point, what else can she do besides give them the ultimatum of me or him?
Okay, let's call a spade, though. I understand that he wasn't the one who murdered Aiden, but he did murder Michael. He is a murderer. Klaus is a murderer.
She killed her mom.
I'm not saying... Okay,
Sorry, I'm getting so defensive about Klaus.
Well, you know I'm about to back Klaus up. You know it, because I love him. Just let me get there. Here's the deal. Yes, he murdered him. But Freya doesn't know crap about crap. And that's the most elegant way that I could possibly phrase it. Like, she's come into this picture. She's asleep for 99 years at a time. She's awake for 1 year. She thinks she has any right to say how Klaus's relationship with his father is supposed to be. Michael literally tortured and tormented Klaus for so many years. The fact that he murdered him, it wasn't like he was like, Freya, I'm going to murder your father who has nothing to do with me, who I have never met before and does not affect my life. He said, I'm going to murder my own father. What kind of toll does that take on a man? He was not doing this to Freya. He was just doing this because he had to, for the second time, kill his own father.
But she's just tired of trying to get him on her team of defeat Dahlia. So she's just like, forget about him. I can't work with him. He's obviously not going to be able to work with all of us, so he needs to go over here, and I need to get the other siblings together so we can beat Dahlia, because that's the biggest threat right now.
Yeah.
But I think that Klaus's plans, they may be a little obscure, and he doesn't tell you everything going into them, and I know that's kind of the reason why I don't trust Freya, because I don't think she's being fully truthful with everyone, but his plans usually work. So it's that matter of, you know what? It could be kind of the crazy way to do it, but if you're 90% of the time you're right, I'm going to go with your odds over someone who I don't know. And I think that the family bond, and when Klaus was getting daggers, sorry to jump ahead, but
that's okay.
The hurt in his eyes from his siblings, because he was radical this episode. I 100% agree, and I might have had to be like, I don't know if I trust you, brother, right now. But ultimately, deep down, you have to believe that he's thinking of everyone's best interests.
Of course, the problem is then the one time that he is wrong, everybody dies.
Yeah, of course.
If you're putting all of your faith and hope in one of Klaus's plans, yeah, he's right 90% of that time, but that other 10%, when it goes bad,
it could be
goes bad.
Why can't us as siblings, originals, whatever it is, and I know that this might be a weird thing to say right now, but can't we just go to the local pharmacy and like drug Klaus and make him pass out for a few hours? Like, why do we have to dagger him all of the time? You know what I mean? Like, that is a very extreme measure.
Because that's the only thing that's going to put him down for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how pharmaceuticals work on undead beings.
You feel like NyQuil, he would still just be really awake?
Yeah, that's actually maybe an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pitch that.
Can you call Julie for us and ask about that?
It's like a whole lot of a whole lot of Xanax.
Benadryl. I'm just talking over the counter right now, you know. I'm just talking, you walk in the store, you can buy it right there. Maybe just knock him out for a few hours, just so he can shut up sometimes. Like, or snap his neck. I know he bounces back quick, but snap his neck. Stop daggering your siblings, people. And this is a PSA. Do not dagger.
Do not dagger. But tonight he gave, kind of when Freya gave her ultimatum to Rebecca tonight, she was like, you have to choose right now, me or Klaus. And then Klaus gave the same ultimatum to Elijah. And if Elijah had come on board with him, then Klaus would have trusted him enough to tell him his plan, and maybe we would have heard, and maybe it would have been brilliant. And yes, and then Elijah would have been like, all right, Team Klaus. But he chose not to choose a side.
Well, Elijah doesn't do ultimatums, T.
I know,
That's
but
right.
He says it very clearly.
But then tonight, sorry, I'm gonna jump ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Because I was like, but then he chose a side when, him and Haley were going at it. It was
Right.
like, oh, don't mess with my brother. Oh, now all of a sudden you want to choose a side? Sorry.
There was a lot going on in this
There was a
episode,
lot.
A lot.
clearly.
I've set us up for failure a little bit because I know right now we're talking about Klaus, and then later on we're going to talk about Klaus, and we just want to jump ahead. But there's a whole lot of stuff we have to talk about in between. I feel like you're jumping to say something, though. Are we okay?
Well, I was just going to say that Elijah did choose a side with Haley because obviously there's a connection there, and that's his weakness because Elijah for life.
But he chose the opposite side of her. He chose Klaus's side. Okay, sorry.
Speaking of
I didn't
Haley,
realize I was so passionate about this episode. I'm sorry in advance.
it's coming out.
I
It's
don't
coming
think you're
out.
alone, honestly. The chatter after this episode has literally been, I think, more than any episode we've done this season.
Is your Twitter blowing up?
I mean, I think everybody's is.
Are
It's
people
just
writing
the-
like apologies and condolences to you because they
yeah.
should be?
Yeah, a couple of people have offered to take Aiden's place.
Like romantically?
I've gotten a lot of bae offers.
Oh, sure. Before anyone else.
I can take Aiden's place and be your bae.
Wow.
Okay.
People
This
are
is
very.
amazing.
That's really nice of them.
Really nice of them.
considerate.
Yeah,
It must
I
make you
agree.
feel good. Really good.
That's one way.
Yeah,
to
something
describe
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Jaylee for a second. I know it pains you. I know it does, but we're going to talk about Jackson and Haley and what's going on with Hope, whose powers are still unbeknownst to us. Whatever she's doing, though, it's like feeding off this energy that Dahlia can find her. So they need to somehow smother her. Not actually, because you can't smother babies, but smother the power. That it just sounds so wrong.
It sounds like you're trying to kill an infant right now.
Definitely frowned upon.
Well, we had all this
Especially on network
extra.
television.
Yeah.
We had the extra Benadryl and NyQuil, so I just figured we would do something with it. Anyway, so we're here with them. They're trying to protect Hope. Everybody's trying to protect Hope. That is the common goal, except for Dahlia, who's trying to snatch her and take her for her own because obviously she is owed her from a long time ago bet, which is another point that we'll get to. But anyway, so they're hiding. They're hiding in this place, and this place is kind of beautiful and cool. And I'm thinking, wow, I want to go camping here. Oh wait. Maybe that's not how I should be feeling. What are these roses that are growing inside? Holy crap, it's Dahlia. Like, how quickly did she have the ability to find them? Which just makes us know that she is the most powerful thing that we've seen on the show so far, other than Hope. What are you guys thinking about Dahlia? Were you surprised how quick she was able to find them and by this whole nightfall of tomorrow?
I thought she would find them fast. She's scary. I think she's delusional, too, the way that she was talking with Haley about how she's owed this baby and she thinks the issue with Freya is because she was older and let me just have her now.
Right.
Like, how are you telling a mother that she needs to give up her child?
A mother, yeah. Like, snap with it as you
Snaps the
go.
fingers,
I
drops
get
the
that.
mic.
I don't think she really sees Haley as Hope's true mother, though. I think she sees herself as that.
She didn't even know Haley's name.
Which makes
Yeah.
her delusional,
I don't know.
right?
All right, go ahead.
I kind of get it. I get it. Part of me wants to be on Team Dahlia. I get it.
All right, I need a little further of an explanation
She
here.
just killed your boyfriend. How
totally
dare
look,
you?
As Josh,
doesn't know that.
hashtag kill the bitch.
Yeah, totally.
Don't know if we're allowed to say that.
No,
but
yeah,
I just
go.
did. So,
Go for it.
and I've been seeing that hashtag a lot on Twitter.
Is that a
I
hashtag?
kind of dig it.
That's amazing.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, but then as
But
Steven,
as a fan, I'm like, hey, this is part of the whole mythology. This deal was made 1,000 years ago. There was a really good reason for the deal. I mean, in return, she basically gave all of them this massive amount of power.
Right.
And she said, I want something very small. I want your first child. And just because it's 1,000 years later doesn't mean that,
but
she shouldn't collect.
how is this Esther's child to give? That is what baffles me.
That's my question.
I could make a deal with Tiona saying, you can have Katie's child.
I don't want it, but thanks.
Katie doesn't have a child. Katie's like, what child?
Man, what's wrong with your kid?
No, but I could say it. I could say you can have Katie's child.
Yeah.
That's not my kid to give. And if Katie says no, you can't, then Katie says yay.
Katie says yay.
She's the mom, so I can't. Like,
Yeah.
if something is not yours to give, how are you allowed to give it? And that's what I just want to shake Dahlia and say. This isn't a deal because you made a deal with the wrong person. If you had made a deal with Haley, then you could have Haley's kid. I mean,
That
what
was my
deal?
biggest complaint during this scene too, when she was telling Haley, well, you just need to live up to the deal. Like, sorry, you're kind of collateral damage within it. But in my mind, I'm thinking, but it wasn't Esther's deal to make with you for the future children. For her children, yeah, she can give you her child, but for her children's children, that's not hers to give away.
Well,
I think
that's
with witches though, it's different.
Yeah.
There's a whole, your child, your child's child. The bloodline thing is really important.
Yeah.
I think that's where the authority comes from.
That's true. And as I'm thinking about it, it is a little different than me giving Katie because they are still related.
Right.
It is the bloodline, but I still feel like the only person that could give away their kid is the mom.
Yeah, and I'd be totally like Haley, like, girl,
Yeah.
please,
Sure, yeah.
you better get away.
In what world is this woman coming to her, Dahlia coming to her, thinking that Haley's gonna be like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, take
not
her.
fight.
I didn't like her that much anyway. She's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, no, and her eyes kind of rolled back, Dahlia's, when she was like, "You're a child." I was like, "Oh my god, that hurt her to say that."
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
Amazing, and she has this smile going on too that I'm again #killed a bitch. I was surprised that Haley knew better, but I was surprised that Haley didn't just kind of plop Hope on the ground and go after Dahlia through the door.
Well, so now the question is, do you think Dahlia really wants them to just give up the baby that easily, or does she want the baby and she wants them to fight back so that she then has a reason to wipe out everybody? Because that's kind of the impression that I got last night. She was expecting a fight, and she kind of wants the fight so that, yeah, she'll end up with the baby anyway, but in the meantime, she's also taking everybody out.
Look at you posing questions to us. That was a good one.
That occurred to me as I was watching, and I'll be honest, when I was reading the script for the episode, that didn't occur to me. But when I saw it on screen, I thought she made some comment in one of the scenes about. It was actually the scene when she was killing Aiden, and she said, "You're the kingling
Right.
that's gonna light this fire." And that's exactly what I want. So it made me kind of think that there's maybe two motives here.
She is so powerful that if all she wanted was the baby, she probably could have had it
Probably could have
already.
just figured out how to take her, yeah.
Right, but she hasn't. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
So if we run with that, then what do we think she could really want? Just to stir the pot up, or is she malicious enough to want everybody dead, or what?
I feel like she knows that they're not, if she gets Hope, they're not going to just stop there. In order for her to take Hope, she needs to wipe them out because they're never going to stop trying to get her back.
Right.
Esther gave up her child and just stopped. These people aren't.
Good mom.
Yeah, great mom right there. These people are not like that. Hope has an army of people who love her and family that is not going to let her just go away and disappear forever.
Joke's kind of on them because little do they know, Hope probably could save herself. We don't even know the powers that are Hope, but, well, what?
She is going to be able to, but she doesn't know that yet because she's just too small.
Hope doesn't know it, or nobody
doesn't
else?
know it.
I don't think anybody knows the powers that she's going to have.
Cammy saw it a little bit.
Yeah,
Cammy
that's
saw
true
it a
in the
little
car.
bit. And I was reading an article from executive producer Michael Narducci.
Narducci?
No, Narducci.
Who's coming in to talk to us?
Yeah, he's coming in. But
that'll be a joy.
he was talking about baby Hope and her magical powers and how she's still so young that she can't just open her hand and like out comes a spell. So it's sort of like accidental magic right now. And then as the show continues, we'll see her kind of grow up and eventually be able to control it. But right now, that's why she can't just defend herself, because she doesn't know words or spells or anything like that.
Because she's a baby.
Right.
Because she's a baby.
But you would think
Yeah, which
that...
that's the whole reason that Dahlia's been able to track her to this point. She's kind of inadvertently giving off this magic that Dahlia can sense.
Yeah, but you would just think if somebody, I would hope if push come to shove and Dahlia is about to attack her or take her, hope the accidental magic will pop out of Hope.
Because maybe she gets nervous.
Baby style.
Baby style.
#baby style. I don't even know. Like, I'm talking right now. Like, oh, Hope can save herself. She literally can't walk. She can't
She can't
talk.
feed herself. She still poops in a diaper.
Yeah, she like, can't get across the room. There's nothing she can do. But I really believe we're going to see more powers. And apparently the article believes so, too.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of like Jack right now from The Incredibles. Jack didn't really know how to do.
Yes, exactly like Jack.
You guys know the Disney film, The Incredibles, Mr.
Yeah.
Campbell.
I'm with
yes.
you.
Well, it's kind of like that, baby, where he didn't know what he was doing. He was just accidentally blowing things up and,
Right.
doing all this magic.
So we are trying to protect the baby, and we're going to do this by trying to cloak her. And in order to do this, very quickly Aiden volunteers because he feels like crap about what he has done. He's been Team Klaus a little bit. I wonder how he feels about Freya. Well, I guess we'll never know. Oh, that's so sad. Now I'm going to cry. Anyway, so he's been Team Klaus. He kind of betrayed Jackson last week, and by kind of, I mean totally. And he says there was traffic. We know that's not true. At least he finally tells Josh the truth. Congratulations for being the only one who knows the big secret at the time.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's how you know they love each other so much.
And the fact that they said it in tonight's episode. But anyway, so he goes and he is like, okay, I'll do it. And he goes and he has his little powwow with his threesome, who I was loving. I'm loving Team Josh and Aiden and Davina. I was watching this episode thinking, wow, they're going to do really great things together. This is the start of something new.
You didn't see something bad coming?
You know, there was just so much foreshadowing that, especially looking back, I'm like, obviously Roxy. But I really, because I ended up watching last night and I watched again today. So today, when I rewatched, I was like, ooh, yeah, that was really coming. But as I was watching last night, I'm kind of just going along for the ride. Thinking like, yeah, okay.
When the I Love Yous came, I was like, one of them. I didn't know who it was, though. I didn't know if it was going to be Josh or Aiden.
Yeah, you can't get away with saying I love you on this show. That's something bad happening.
And you can't get away with...
Seems harsh.
Yeah, you can't just ride off into the sunset either. You know, you can't just be like, you know what, meet me in 2 hours. Like, every time it goes wrong. Starting with, Romeo and Juliet. It's like, meet me, and then it goes wrong.
Yeah, but as Davina said tonight, we can't both have not happy endings. You know, one of us has to get our happy ending. And I was like, yeah, one of you does. Little do you know that there's a third of you dead in an alley somewhere.
No, nobody's getting a happy ending in the show. Unless we're getting a spin-off. Like if the CW was like, hey, we want to do Josh and Aiden spin-off, then we ride into the sunset. But
yes.
No, I don't think they went for that.
It's a little late for that, too. Unless he pulled one of those typical originals Vampire Diaries and body jumped somehow. Somebody lifted him from his... I don't think that he could do that, though. I don't think Wolf's could do it.
Much to ask.
You don't know.
I don't.
We'll keep it... I really hope he comes back somehow, even if it's in flashbacks, because I loved his character.
Yeah.
And hashtag
Jaden.
I know.
R.I.P.
So anyway, they're together. Katie knows that things are going to go awry. Roxy does not. Tiana's thinking what?
I'm thinking something's going wrong. You can't have that much happiness that early in the episode, man.
Yeah, as you're reading the script,
did you guys not see Julie's tweet from a few weeks ago? I think she tweeted it while we were shooting this episode.
Ooh, what'd she tweet?
She explicitly said that somebody was dying. She said, this episode we're killing a character that we really didn't want to kill. R.I.P. blank.
Why would she do that to us? It's just so mean.
Yeah. So there was all kinds of prognostication all over the internet for the last few weeks. Who's it going to be? I mean, nobody was spared. People were like, Marcel? It might be Marcel. Cammy?
Yeah, Klaus is going for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to be Klaus.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's kind of brilliant that they did it in episode 19 because usually those things come on the season finale. You know, there's a big cliffhanger of, you know, is he dead? Is he not dead? And that kind of stuff. So to have it happen, you know, 3 episodes early, I was shocked because I'm like, no, it's going to happen, but like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right, and I thought maybe, you know, Michael, that kind of thing where he could eventually come back or whatever it is. Just like I never feel like anybody who dies on the show is really gone.
There has to be some kind of other side, even though the other side was destroyed.
Yeah.
There just has to be.
Yeah.
But that's only for witches. Or wait, no, it's not. Sorry.
No,
yeah,
you can be vampy and go. It's for magical creatures. Werewolves are included in that. Yeah. So maybe he's somewhere. Maybe he'll be back. If he does decide to come back, his body's pretty frickin' torn up.
Yeah, we might have to get him a new body.
Dahlia did a number on that.
Serious band-aids.
Yeah.
A lot of gauze.
Or, you know, just like rub his scars and kiss them gently and be like, I still love you despite your appearance.
I think he'd look kind of cool.
Yeah, you look like a badass,
Totally
actually.
badass.
Oh my gosh.
I got in a wolf fight and I survived.
Katie, oh my gosh.
It really just broke my heart when he's like, why are you doing this to me? I was like, stop, please.
Boy, I was really confused. Like, what is going on? So let's jump back for a second, though, because we kind of skimmed over the I love you scene, and I really wanted to focus on that because I gotta say, I pulled a Katie, and there were some tears. There were some tears going down. I've been a big Jaden fan since day one, and I don't know, I feel like sometimes, because there's so much going on, that as a couple, it's just like a given. Oh, they'll be together. But then we got to see this amazing moment, and he asks you to run away with him. He asks you to, and you say yes.
Yeah.
And he says, I love you, and you say it back, and I'm like, yeah.
And he said he was his pack because Josh said that last week. He was like, you're my pack. And this week, Aiden said, you're my pack. And it was beautiful.
What pack are we part of? Are we a pack? You want to be part of our pack
I would
now?
love to. I have nobody else. I'm on the market. I'm looking for a new.
Apparently, you have
pack.
bays though. You have bays
got
lined
plenty
up.
of bays lined up.
Yeah, I didn't see any offers from the three of you. So.
Well, because we were waiting to do
there.
that in person.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I wanted to look you in your eyes, grab your hand, and say,
Oh.
I want to be your bae.
Wow,
Give him the letter.
Yeah.
Give him the letter.
Just like
after.
that.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I love that scene, and I think it was really, at least before he went, it was very fulfilling for fans to get that moment, even though it was even made it so much more difficult when it did get completely ripped away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a well-written scene. I feel like the writer who wrote this episode, Marguerite McIntyre, did such a good job. I mean, with the whole episode, but that scene when we were shooting it, it worked so well. And it was nice too to, I think, have that moment, that kind of culminating moment for. I mean, this has been a long time coming. You know,
Right.
this was like episode 4 of this season that Josh and Aiden first met, and
And you guys had hurdles.
a lot of hurdles, and to be honest, it's really been one of the only, I think, pretty much the only big romance that's happened throughout the season.
Right.
So it's kind of that one thing that fans were able to cling on to as far as romance goes, and this was like that big moment when it all kind of came together.
People were fighting for it, and I'm just so curious what happens to your character now after this, because you're kind of like in Katie Land, the lover of love, and you got through those hurdles, and you just want to be happy and smile and run off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And not only did us as fans get that ripped away from us, but the character really got it ripped away from him.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to turn dark in this place.
It's going to be interesting to see where we go from here, for sure.
It's definitely easy to turn off one's humanity when you're a vampire.
Yeah, that's
Saying
certainly an
that
option.
right now.
I mean, we'll get a little bit of a look next episode about kind of the immediate aftermath of what Josh is feeling. I mean, I think initially there's a lot. It's a little overwhelming. There's still there's that shock factor. There's that, I don't know what I'm going to do, that kind of thing. I think before we go to that next stage of what's Josh going to do now, he has to have that time to grieve and get some closure.
Absolutely.
But once we get past that, I think things are going to get a little interesting. So we'll see.
I like that.
Is that like a prediction?
It is a prediction
spoiler?
because I don't know for sure. I mean, I haven't yet had a conversation with the writers or anybody about where we go from here. But yeah, I would imagine that things are gonna get a little interesting.
That's fun as an actor, though.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, Josh has really evolved since the beginning of. I mean, it's been a long. I mean, Josh showed up in like the second episode of the series,
Right.
and here we are at the end of season 2, and I mean, Josh has come a long way. So I'm kind of looking forward to that next step. That
You
he
want some
takes.
bad things to happen to him, and I think that I'm on the opposite team right now. So as an actor, you probably want him to go down a dark path, and sitting across the table, that makes me a little upset because I want him to go into the light.
Well, I mean, the thing is Josh, and I mean, you can't, I think part of the reason Josh works so well as part of this ensemble is that he is a contrast to the other characters. I mean, every other character is kind of that dark and gloomy and that kind of thing.
One more time, that thing. Yeah, totally. I could see that.
I got that down right.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So
That's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, maybe he should have been a wolf.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like giving me a little bit of a wolfy vibe there.
could be the next step.
Katie's our wolf, though. She's our resident wolf. Doesn't she just like the hair? She could rock the wolf.
A little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Wolfy.
Wolfie, completely. So anyway, what ends up happening, as we have said so many times tonight, is we get this completely ripped away, and Dahlia comes and she tears him apart. He did such an incredible job as he's like walking,
Such a
and
good
she.
scene.
Oh my God,
Yeah, that was
such a good
great.
scene. And he's so confused and also just devastated. And she literally tears his heart out and throws on the ground and cuts him all up and leaves him there completely dead. And then, if that wasn't enough, you have to find him. You're the finder of the frickin' body.
That's what made tears well in my eyes was Josh
knew it. I
crying
knew you cried.
over. Just they're welling up in my eyes, like you're just crying over Aiden. It was really sad.
Yeah, and you have that moment in the scene right before when Davina and I are walking and we're happy
Yeah.
and where are you going to go live? Are
She's
you going to
happy
come visit
for
us? She's
you.
happy for me, and the audience of course knows.
Yeah.
Oh oh man,
I know.
this is bad.
I was glad at least that I was a little prepared and that we already saw, because if we didn't know that he was dead and you just stumbled across his body,
Right.
I would have lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a horrible way. So you do find him, and then you take off.
Yeah.
And then you take off, and you leave everybody to deal with the aftermath. I can't really blame you, because what are you supposed to do at that point? You try to give him your blood, and I was like, yo, dude.
His heart's right there.
I know.
Come on,
Good
man.
effort.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, I find him, and it's like, I mean, who knows if I even notice the heart sit. I mean, I'm so, that my world is just completely thrown, and as a, I'm a new baby vampire still, really.
Right.
I've seen this work before. You give somebody their blood, and then they come back. So like, this will work. This is gonna work, right?
It's like a chicken liver on the floor. You don't think it's a heart.
So I think that's kind of what was going through Josh's head.
Oh, it's so sad.
What did Josh think? Like, who did this? Who did Josh think did this? Because we see everybody else after that think, oh, Klaus
Blame
did
it
it.
on Klaus.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure that's it. I'm not even sure that's something that's going through Josh's head immediately. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you mentioned he takes off, and as we're going to find out in the next episode, it's not. He doesn't leave, but he kind of has one of those wander around the streets all night, thinking, wondering what happened, how did this go wrong, where do I go from here, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I would imagine he would get to Klaus pretty quickly. I'm not sure who else,
Right.
would
Because
suspect.
at that point, the last time that he saw Aiden, he was going to talk to Jackson too, and not that it was really in Jackson's character to kill someone,
Right,
but
and I think
it's like
everybody knows
the
that.
two people in Josh's mind who I would immediately go to if I was him were Jackson and Klaus, because they both have the Wolfie thing, and those are the two people who he was kind of stuck in the middle of.
Right.
This is why you're our witch and not our wolf. The wolfy thing.
The Wolfie thing,
No,
you know.
I'm with you, though. It was very interesting because my mind immediately is like, who is Dahlia trying to set up here by doing this? Wow, she's setting up Jackson. Is this to piss off Josh, to make him think that the wolf's turn and make him be on like completely Team Vamp, or what is this for? It makes a lot more sense that she would try to blame it on Klaus. The more bizarre part, though, is that Klaus takes the blame. She set him up. And now I'm wondering, did Dahlia know Klaus would... Did she know him so well and has been watching him or whatever? So she knows that he would say, yes, I did that?
See, I didn't even know that she was... My mind didn't even go there. It was just, I thought she was making him suffer. I just didn't even
she was
think...
making Aiden suffer.
Yeah.
But why? She doesn't care about Aiden. Why does she make him suffer?
I don't know. I just did not think, like, to set somebody else up. Although I really wasn't surprised when Klaus took the blame for it. Because I'm like, he needs to stand up and be like, this is what will happen to you if you disobey me.
You can see it in his face.
Yeah.
And I kind of took it as he knew that even if he denied saying it, they weren't going to believe him anyway.
Exactly.
And that's how I initially took it. And then, later on when he confessed to Cammy that, it wasn't him, that to me, I was like, oh my God, thank you. You told someone. But like he said to Cammy, I'm leaving you with the truth that no one's going to believe.
Exactly the quote I was just looking for.
Yeah.
And so I leave you with the burden of the truth that no one will believe. I thought that was first of all, such an incredibly written line and scene also, but just the fact that he did that and that he knows and he's so self-aware and sees how everybody views him, it was incredible that he just said, yes, I did this. I was screaming at the TV. No, you didn't. Shush.
I was like, the one time you didn't kill someone, tell them the truth. But then I understand why he did it, and that's why I've been so defensive of Klaus tonight, because in this last moment when he was confessing to Cammy, you just saw the hurt in his eyes that he did have to do that. But, the fact that he thinks that the only way to lead people is to have them fear him, that's something that's messed up about him from his father. So everything that Klaus is, he's a product of his environment. And it's like he only knows fear as a tool. He doesn't know any other way. So that's why I empathize with him in that way. And that's why I get so passionate about him. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not supportive of abusive relationships like you guys accuse me of being in the chat room.
Well, talk to me about the chat right now. What's going on in there? What's going on, chat mistress?
There's a lot going on in here right now.
They're upset with you because
Somebody-
you love
I mean,
Klaus? I'm a Klaus lover too.
They were mad at me for that, and they were also mad at me for loving Jackson. They're saying that Jackson needs to die, which we all know I don't believe in.
Wow.
At all.
Why? Why does he need to die?
Because they're Elijah, I'm sure.
And
Well,
people
I'm
don't
Elijah
see
too, but-
people don't see Jackson as a good leader. for the pack. They think that, you know, other people would be better suited for that. So,
like Aiden?
But, you know,
Oh, wait.
do you
Whoops.
see?
whoopsie.
Jackson was, I team Jackson because, like, stay alive because I think he's a good person. Because, I mean, you saw he initially was mad at Aiden for what he did, but then he's like, you know what? No, you did come clean. Like, he's a good person. He sees the good, you know?
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk about that interaction. When he finally does come clean and says, listen, this is what I did, Jackson was the most level-headed, cool, calm, collected. When it came down to it, you did the right thing. You're still part of the pack. If you need to leave for a little bit, go ahead. I'm like, what makes a better alpha than that? You know, somebody who really sees. So I completely disagree with people in the chat, even if I'm not 100% Jaylee, because I can be swayed one way or another. I still think he's such an amazing character, and he is so forgiving and honest and just real with Aiden, and really believes in him and is proud of him that he did step up. So you shush chat roll
And
about
can we also
him.
talk about the fact that this is the second in command he's lost this season? Because he lost Ollie at the beginning of the season,
Yeah,
and now he just
go for.
he's having a hard time. Like I honestly wouldn't want to be next in line anymore if I was one of the wolves,
You're not kidding.
because you don't know how long you're gonna fill that position.
Well, that's a good point, though. Who is next in line with the Wolves?
Well, I think that if they end up running off, that part doesn't really matter right now.
Yeah, but there's got to be would it be Beta? Is that what comes after Alpha?
Alpha, beta.
Yeah.
Beta.
Another beta.
Who's the new beta?
Yeah, who's the new
Beta?
Beta? I don't know.
I don't know.
But they need
Gia?
somebody.
There were...
No,
No,
Gia's
she's a
vampire.
vampire. Sorry, I just wanted to say her name right for once.
You did.
Yeah, we tend to call her Gia a little bit. We don't know why.
Oh, that's an interesting pronunciation.
Yeah, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah, we'll explain it off camera.
It's like a foreign, sexy way of saying it. You
Oh,
know?
I like that.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
European.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very European. Exactly.
Somebody
Stick up for you.
tweeted me that there were also other wolves that we did lose in this episode. So there were more people.
Yeah, there were a lot of wolves lost.
Yeah.
I mean, when they were kind of defending that little compound area, and Dahlia was just snapping necks left
Is
and
this your
right.
scary?
This is your RIP to those wolves. You didn't
Yeah.
want them to go forgotten or unmentioned in
Yeah,
this episode.
you know, I mean, there's a lot of, they
Yeah,
could have
pay
been
them a little
betas.
homage, yeah.
They could have been the next
Jackson
beta.
lost a lot of people.
That's
this
true.
episode.
Talk about going dark. When we had him come into studio, he said that his character might take a turn, and if this doesn't do it, I don't know what would. You know, after losing the two. What do you mean, see?
I thought it was going to be the whole power going into his head, but we're not seeing that. He's still keeping his calm, cool, collected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, I think he's done a pretty good job ruling. I just have to say, based on everything he did tonight too, I hope he keeps doing well. But there's only so much he can take, and now he's got to protect a child that's not even his.
And I think that what people don't realize is that he's a different kind of leader than Klaus. Everyone's used to the way Klaus leads things, and we haven't really spent a lot of time with the alpha of a pack before on Vampire Diaries or the originals.
Right.
So this is the first kind of test we're getting of seeing what they can be like. And I think Jackson's leadership is just different than the normal leadership role that people would take.
Right. There's a couple of different characters I want to touch upon that I'm realizing when you said that we've lost some people, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then there's also people who are still here that I feel like we haven't talked that much about. Davina being one of them. Davina's relationship with Marcel, we've been missing it for a few weeks, and we see little glimpses, but tonight we see she's a little pissed at him.
I agree with her,
She
though.
should be.
Yeah, because she lost Cole, and Marcel's like, yeah, whatever. Give me that dagger that you guys made, because I got to use that. Marcel, step up your game. You're supposed to be Daddy Marcel to her, or Big Brother Marcel, so act that way. Care about the fact that she just lost what she is feeling like is the love of her life.
Yeah,
Covina
even
for
if he
life.
didn't like
I
him
was
for
obsessed
her.
with him, too.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Join at the club.
Yeah. Even if he didn't like her.
Even if he didn't like him for her, he should have been there for her.
Yeah.
I agree.
But guys, he also didn't realize she'd been missing for days when Eva Sinclair had her locked up in a subway, whatever that place was.
but that's just further proving
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah,
It kind of
like-
makes it worse.
It makes it a lot worse. Marcel hasn't been on top of it like he usually is with her, and maybe it's because Rebecca's around. I don't know. Maybe because he has been spending a lot of time with Rebecca.
Well, speaking of that,
Yeah, he gets easily distracted.
Yeah.
With that Marcel.
yeah, we're having a little bit of a dilemma, though, because I'm seeing tweets about this. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago, though. People are having an issue joining teams with Marcel and Rebecca when Rebecca's in this body. Because they feel like it would be him kind of cheating on Claire Holt Rebecca to be with this Rebecca, because it's not her body, or just misuse of this girl's body. I don't know. I'm so into them being together. It's Rebecca in the spirit and mind. So
it's her soul. There's another show, Drop Dead Diva, not to get into that show, but like where people's souls are in other people's bodies, and I was all for their love. So I'm for their love.
I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked.
Katie just loves love.
Oh,
No, I get it. I completely get it. I'm for their love too. I really am. And I'm just like, you know what? Claire Holt's busy right now, and and
that's what it comes down to.
And this girl's doing an amazing job. So let her do an amazing job and do Marcel.
And Davina fell in love with Cole and was kissing him, and that's not his body.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I think we just kind of have to get past the fact of the whole body jumping thing. I mean, a soul is a soul, a person is a person, but the body isn't going to make a huge difference at this point. I know visually, it's hard to get past that.
Right.
But, yeah.
Speaking of Cole, we've mentioned him every single week on the show. We are keeping his spirit alive. Cole's coming back.
As are a lot of people.
Yeah, Cole is coming back. I'm telling you that Josh might not get his happy ending, but Davina's going to get hers. Because Cole's going to be back.
Interesting.
So you know how we do the prediction segment at the end?
Yeah.
I just did
you
that.
Just did it
that
now.
was just my prediction. All right. I do want to talk about something big, though, that we haven't mentioned, which is, or we briefly mentioned, is the end of this, where everybody comes against Klaus. They're all against him, except for Cammy, who kind of knows the truth to some extent. And in the room, not only does Elijah stab, but Freya and Rebecca watch. And they're like, yeah, you're going down. Mind blown. Tears going.
Yeah, that was heart-wrenching.
It was gut-wrenching. I couldn't watch that. What?
Sorry, I'm just visualizing it, and I hated Freya in that moment so much.
You were giving me like the death glare. I was like, what did I just do? I stood up for our man.
Yeah, you did, but I was so mad at Freya. She walked out with that smug look like, I got your siblings to turn on you, which was my plan all along. Mm-hmm. And it's also Dahlia's, so maybe they're working together, and you chose the wrong side, Elijah and Rebecca and Marcel.
You chose the wrong side.
Never go against Klaus.
I was sad for Klaus because he had to watch his siblings, he realized that they were all in on this. Like, okay, we don't need to show him. But I'm upset about it, but I just want this whole quarrel to picking sides to just stop. I'm over it. I'm like, we have a bigger problem.
Do you believe that this will honestly help the bigger problem, though? Do you feel like Klaus being down for the count means that Hope will be safe?
If they're going to stop arguing about who's the top and who's going to attack Dahlia and what way they're going to do it, then maybe.
Do you guys feel like Klaus being stabbed and daggered is going to make Hope any safer? Because that was the plan. I don't feel like that. I feel like it makes her less safe because it's just one less champion in her corner.
Yeah.
And so
let's be honest, we're going to need Klaus at some point.
Right, and they're going to have to undagger him, and then we're going to have to go with him being pissed. Mm-hmm. So obviously he's going to be pissed, and then that's going to take a whole couple hours of him being like, wah, you guys daggered me, and they're going to say, well, you daggered us for years, and he's going to say, well, that was different, your child was on the line, and they're going to say, it was still a big part of our lives, and then they're going to make up, and then he's going to go help, but it's going to be maybe too little too late.
But it's also that what you said, it's his child on the line, and they daggered him.
Right.
That's the part that it's like, okay, you can not agree with his parenting skills right now, but to dagger him when it's not your child, like, it's his child.
Because, it goes back to that scene. It was so, the moment that he made that decision to take the blame for Aiden's death, it was like, it was because of the fact that even if he admitted that it wasn't him, nobody would have believed him.
Right.
He had no choice, and you just saw that in his eyes.
I just don't even know if I believe that, though, because I would have believed him.
I don't think anybody else would.
Roxy, you and I would have believed him. We're the only ones. But I watch a lot of crime shows, so all I'm thinking is, where's the forensic report? Like, let's get the coroner down here. Time of death was this time. Klaus has been with Cammy all day. He was with Elijah, and then went from there to the hideaway. He didn't have time to kill anyone, so if we could just get the police involved. He does move
awfully fast. The vampire, he's
that's true.
In and out. He can do it in a matter of seconds.
I was more thinking, like, isn't there footage on the street, cams? Go find the security cameras. Show that Dahlia did this. Everybody stop your bitching about Klaus.
I have a feeling Dahlia is more careful than that, though.
Yeah, she probably
pull up the security cameras, and it would just be like an invisible person.
It would just look like he was doing all this stuff to himself.
Exactly.
Oh, creepy. Really creepy.
Yeah.
Dahlia doing this, though, and putting, in turn, making the siblings put Klaus down is making it easier to get to Hope. Like this, that's what she's doing with this whole "I'm killing Aiden."
That was her whole.
Yeah,
that was her whole plan all along, for sure.
Yeah, but she's turning people against Klaus. Dolly's doing that, and that's exactly what Freya wants too. This all goes back to Tiona's point that they're doing the same thing. Is there any chance? I know we've seen Freya, and she's so scared of Dahlia. Is there any chance that somehow, not that she's sired to her, but that she's doing her dirty work for one reason or another, whether consciously or subconsciously?
That it was their plan all along for her to show up with this sob story about how Freya mistreated her and how she wants to be their sibling, but she's actually working with Dahlia to get baby Hope so that they can make their magical power coven? Yes!
I don't know.
A lot of passion.
You can't say she doesn't say it with conviction, So
I figure if I say it in a way that, I believe it, then other people will believe it too.
yeah, that's a Donald technique.
Yes.
Yeah. I completely understand that. Okay, here's the thing. I know that I have to mention this, and I don't even know how to tie it in, so I'm just going to bring it up.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about right now?
Wow, you guys read each other's minds.
Yeah, well, it's because our fans every single week, they #Claylee. There is this Klaus Haley looming thing that I gotta say I usually try to pull for you guys, but everybody's always talking about they're seeing. I didn't see it this week. I did not see the love connection between Klaus and Haley. I saw only hate. And yes, I know that you guys think it's endgame and long term, and maybe that's true, but in the meantime, people are like, now I know it's gotta be the truth. Where? I'm missing it.
All I saw was Clammy.
Oh, Klaus and Cammy.
I saw a lot of Camille last night.
Yeah.
The Klaus and Haley thing,
I'm
that's like wishful
confused.
thinking, I feel like. That is very wishful thinking.
Yeah, I gotta say, I try to pull for them because there are so many Claylee fans out there.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
More than Camille?
Yes.
I think
Probably,
so,
I guess, right?
but never as much as Caroline. Drink.
I told you guys she was going to say it. I told them on the chat roll you were going to say it tonight.
I know,
Yes.
I had to. We play a drinking game every time I talk about Caroline. I have a really hard time letting go of things, which is why Jaden will be in my heart forever.
We'll take it.
And so I'm still into Klaus and Caroline.
After the Klaus and Cammy scene last night, I feel that was the best scene they've had together.
Absolutely,
ever.
I agree with that.
Honestly, one of the best scenes of the entire season. It was incredible. It was incredible.
I agree. And honestly, I have to say what I wrote down was, I want them to kiss? ?
Right.
Yeah. I was a little confused.
Are they going to kiss?
Yeah, I didn't know whether they're going. He grabs her face, and I'm like, do I want this? Is this something that's good?
Right.
Oh my God! But what did you say?
I love
something?
it. I wrote Clammy with hearts, and then he
All
said
caps, 3 hearts.
and then he said better.
Doodling in your notebook over there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Clammy. Yeah, better man would, but he said better man would protect you with
a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wasn't going to do that because he was honest with her.
Yeah, but like you can just see the feelings that he has for her.
She's such a therapist, too.
Yeah, which is why
Tell me how you feel.
immediately after this episode, I started getting tweets about, if you don't see Claylee now, like, you'll never see it. Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, but I just watched an amazing scene between Klaus and Camille. Like, that's all that's in the forefront of my mind. And I'm not choosing a side either way of who I would like him match with for endgame or anything. But I'm just saying, in last night's episode, Camille was very, very potent, and I saw it for the first time.
Not only that, but Elijah was a little potent because there was that moment.
Some tension there.
Right, there was a little tension, and he does let her go, and he lets them escape. My ships are changing on this show. I gotta say, some ships are sailing, and some are sinking, and some are soaring. I'm trying to use terminology. I don't know. I'm not that hip.
Are you seeing Elijah though?
I don't know. It's tough. No, I'm loving Jaylee still, and I love that she stood up for him and that they did go off together. I just hate that she thinks that she's the mom and that she can just own Klaus. Klaus is a father. You can't just put him down and think that he doesn't have 50% say in your guys' kid. It's both of your kid. I know that you love Jackson, or maybe you love Jackson, but he's not the dad. So I that's how I feel about that. But anyway, shout out to you Claylee fans for staying true and reading between the lines that I just clearly am not intellectual enough to read between.
And I'm not saying we're not saying that you're wrong about it.
Oh, no.
We're just saying in this episode, so attack him on Twitter and not us.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about you, not as Josh, but you as Steven. Did we wrap up the episode? Did anybody have any comments before we go into that? Okay.
I will real quick.
Yeah.
I would feel remiss if I didn't give a big shout out to Colin Woodell.
Yeah.
For his impeccable talents playing Aiden this season. I actually told him I thought I don't think that this storyline would have worked with anybody else, and I was a little nervous going into it, wondering whether it was going to feel forced or contrived. This whole let's give Josh a love interest, and Colin and I from day one honestly got along so swimmingly, and he's a great guy and a great talent. I think he's a big reason why this whole thing worked out. So props, Colin.
Drops mic, walks out of room. Could that have been
I almost
any
started
cuter?
crying just now.
I see those tears over there,
So
guys.
beautiful.
That has to be its own little clip that goes out, and people are just gonna listen to that at night when they're thinking about you guys. That was amazing. You have so many more bays now.
Oh my god, that's exactly what I needed.
Back off. He's
Yeah,
mine. He
okay.
accepted.
Too late, ladies and gentlemen.
I will say though, I completely agree, and I thought that he did an amazing job. I thought you
Yeah.
guys had amazing chemistry.
Yeah,
So
it worked out really
Yeah.
well.
we're gonna miss his character, and we're gonna miss the actor as well. But now I do want to talk about you and other things that
Yeah.
you're working on. So obviously you are on the show. You're on the show a lot. We love your character, but as an actor, you're doing some other things. And I think you have a movie coming out.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming up. Goosebumps movie is coming out in October, which I think is going to be unbelievably awesome. Such a good cast: Jack Black, Amy Ryan, Jillian Bell, Ken Marino, a bunch of really talented kids, like
Cool.
kids that are this big, that are absurdly talented. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to that. It comes out right around Halloween, so that'll be perfect for the theme of the movie.
Tell us about your role. What do you do?
It could not be more opposite from Josh. That's just my incredible range as an actor.
So you're not playing a vampire.
I'm not playing a vampire, and yeah, I am the jock. I'm the quote unquote douchebag in the movie.
Well, I gotta say, I just caught up on Pretty Little Liars, and
Similar, yeah.
I saw you.
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the bully in Goosebumps, so I pick on the lead kid in the movie. So it's gonna be a fun watch for sure. I'm excited about it.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And when did you say that it comes out?
October. Yeah, I think maybe like 2 weeks before Halloween. I want to say
amazing.
Mid October.
Everybody check that out.
Yeah, look for it.
How do you even have time for that when you're filming this show?
Funny enough, it was literally we were filming in Atlanta, and I started about 2 weeks after we wrapped for the first season of the show. So I went back to LA for a couple weeks, then right back to Atlanta.
Oh, you're really planting roots in Atlanta.
Everything is in Atlanta these days.
There's a lot
It's
happening
crazy.
in Atlanta.
That's true. Maybe we should go to Atlanta.
I mean,
It's not a bad idea.
Nice little road trip.
I'm Miss Bay
do
now,
it.
so I'm sure we can get on the set. You know, it's
Yeah,
cool.
and we're a pack now, right?
And we're all a pack. So
You remember when you called it Bay and that we're a pack?
Unbreakable. Security.
Amazing.
next season, Josh is gonna have 3 badass bitches with him. We're gonna be flanked on his sides, like yeah.
I'm gonna have like a crazy mohawk painted red.
Well, we
Yes.
talked about your character maybe going dark. Maybe,
Could be part of it.
or the entourage. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I have a fan question
Go
for
ahead.
you. Gloria Hernan wants to know. She wants me to ask you about doing Secrets from the Quarter with Julie.
Oh,
and how
yeah.
that was.
That was amazing. It only lasted. We did it like at the end of last season as kind of a promotional thing to kind of ramp up interest in the last part of last season. That was incredible. Just for one day, we sat down and shot all these little episodes with Mike and Julie, and that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
You don't often work with executive producers that are as involved as they are and as passionate as they are about the show, and they are. I mean, they will talk for you. You guys will find out when you talk to Mike Narducci. You'll have to cut him off because he will continue talking.
Does it make you nervous because they are so hands-on?
It did at first, especially because it was still the first season. I actually didn't know if I was gonna survive the first season when we were doing those. So it was kind of like, so guys, am I am I living? Am I dying? What's happening here? And I still didn't exactly feel like I still felt like kind of a guest. So yeah, it was a little intimidating. But now
Now you're part of the family.
Get along pretty well.
I think you're going to stick around. If your character was to leave the show, I would. Oh my gosh, the waterworks. It'd be a
revolt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. It would give me goosebumps in October.
Wow, she's all over it.
And then one other comment I have to say, because I
Please.
thought this was a great compliment. Evie said Steven's teeth look amazing, and I think that is one of the best compliments someone can give you.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I was actually thinking about that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I just needed you to know that your teeth look amazing.
I really appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on to some predictions because we did give them a little bit throughout the episode, but we have to talk more about the looming threat that is Dahlia, the fact that she is everywhere and they can't escape her, and Klaus has been daggered, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about next week. The next 3 episodes, because there are only 3 left.
What?
Go for it. Go first.
I was just going to say, I initially thought that Klaus was going to be daggered in like the season finale, but then they killed that very quickly. So I think that Hope might be taken. I really do.
But in the season finale?
Maybe. But in one of these episodes coming up, I think that Dahlia's going to get her, and then it's going to be like, let's get Hope back.
And then we undagger Klaus, and it's like, sick 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's going to
I
happen.
can see that happening, but I don't want to see Klaus not undaggered for the next 3 episodes.
Oh, no way.
I would go crazy.
I know you would. All right, T, what you got for me?
Well, I just think this is really interesting. Darius from the chat roll just said, be careful, everyone, going for Josh, and Dahlia will kill you. Dosh for life. So apparently this is a new thing now where
Dahlia
people are thinking
Josh.
that Dahlia is, coming after Josh, and so it's Dosh now.
Because she came after Aiden?
Yeah.
It's harsh.
Hashtag Dosh? Dosh
That
is
is a thing that's
Already
happening right now.
destroyed me inside. I mean, geez.
I mean, isn't it kind of like a compliment? Dahlia wants you.
I'm not sure I would take it like
there's-
that.
Maybe she likes his teeth and she's going to pull them
Yeah.
out for herself.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
That's a Dahlia thing.
Yeah, that is a very Dahlia thing.
All right, T, what do you got for predictions?
My
though?
predictions, I think I've kind of said throughout the episode too. I don't think Klaus will stay daggered for long. I also agree with Katie that Hope will get taken at some point. And I don't know. I just want people to understand Klaus's troubled side. And
Do you like Klaus's character? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I wasn't quite clear.
Is anyone confused where I stand on this right
A
now?
little bit.
Just
we might have to talk afterwards.
yeah, he's a troubled child, so just keep that in mind.
Amazing.
All I'm saying.
All right, and I know it's not really cool for you to give predictions, but any sort of spoiler. You told us that your character next week is going to be dealing with some things.
Yeah, naturally.
We can look forward to that.
Josh will be dealing with some stuff.
Hey, start tickling him so he spills the gossip.
Tickle monster!
Wow.
Tickle monster!
Oh my god.
Sexual and violent at the same time.
It's pretty perfect. Perfect.
Pretty much sums us up.
Anyway, Steven, thank you so much for joining us. You were absolutely a pleasure to have.
Thank you for having me.
And we love hearing more about Josh. And if
Yeah.
people want to talk to you throughout the week, where can they find you?
On Twitter, Steven A. Krueger. Please send me all the stuff that you have. I love reading it.
Yeah, absolutely. And send him your condolences.
Yeah, please. Lots of smiley and cryy emojis.
He needs as many bays as he can get, for sure.
I will take them.
Steven, you're the best. Thank you so much. And Tiona, where can everybody find you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
And Katie.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at KatieCampbell13 and on YouTube.com/KatieCampbell Online. I do a weekly vlog.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. You can find us at AfterBuzz TV, AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Of course, use the hashtag ABTV Originals or on iTunes or on SoundCloud. Give us that 5 stars, that thumbs up, write a comment. We read everything you guys have to say. You're the absolute best in the entire world. Shout out to Steven Krueger. He's the best for coming in. And we'll see you guys next week where we have Mike coming in to talk to us. EP, big guy in the house.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.